Of course, there are other examples of excellence throughout McDonnell Douglas. In June, the Space Systems Company was selected as one of 30 second-stage review finalists in the competition for the 1992 Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. That they advanced to that stage is powerful evidence of their progress toward total quality management. At Florida's Kennedy Space Center, they process payloads carried aboard NASA's space shuttles. It's a job the Space Systems Company has been doing for 15 years. But as you're about to see, they're still finding ways to improve the process.
3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery and the Upper Atmosphere Research Satellite.
Payload processing is really the cornerstone of our business here. What we do is we prepare the payload that fits in the cargo bay of the shuttle, such as a communication satellite or a space lab that stays in the orbiter bay where the astronauts work and send down science. And it's a tremendous process of assembling and testing at each stage, okay, until we know that this payload is put together and is ready to go out to that orbiter. Shuttle space is at a premium, and we want to make absolutely sure that when we launch that thing, that it's going to do what the astronauts need it to do, that it's going to produce the science. With a complex, very complex object, such as a spacecraft, that's built by somebody else, okay, and it has interfaces to something that we have here, that interface is a crucial point, okay? And access around it can be crucial. We're dealing with a spacecraft that could cost up to $500 million. It's very important for us to take all the guesswork out. So what we've learned is that it's very important to model this process. We have already very sophisticated, very detailed, three-dimensional computer models of our facilities here and what the interfaces look like. So we can take the model of their spacecraft, scale to the proper size, and bring it in and integrate it with our facility. I know I will be able to install that when that hardware gets here. Now, once the payload is in the orbiter, we want to make sure again that it's absolutely perfect, that everything is hooked up properly and working right, so that when the astronauts get up on space, they will have the absolute minimum amount of problems.
We have ignition and we have liftoff. Liftoff.
There's a variety of different kinds of things that the astronauts do. Some of the typical things are they will deploy or release a satellite and its rocket motor from the payload bay of the orbiter. Then there's some of the more spectacular missions you've seen, like for instance the retrieval of the Intelsat satellite. They've done a number of experiments getting us ready for space station, trying to see how difficult is it to build things in space. So all of these kind of things the astronauts do. Then the mission's over. You see the orbiter land on the runway. Everybody claps, crowd goes home, and our work starts again, okay? Because I've got to get that shuttle ready for its next mission. So I take the payload out. It's still got all of its experiments, all this science data. That's got to get back to the proper scientists to go analyze. My job as a payload manager is to take this wide variety of engineers and all the quality people and the technicians and all of those people and bring them together as a team to focus on one goal, which is getting that payload built, put together, tested, and launched, okay? I take the work of that team and integrate it, all right? We produce schedules. I work that in with the milestones that we have to meet as a company, the budget that we have to meet as a company. Everybody's got to be working to the same plan, and those plans have to be in sync. And one of the things that we're trying to do now is, with a system that's called the Payload Data Management System, or PDMS as we call it, is to integrate that tremendous volume of schedule information.
It is really a big savings for us that we have these schedules available.
Mark and I are working together on the Payload Data Management System, designing an integrated division master schedule whereby we look at all of the activities that have to occur in the whole division and integrating those activities. When we looked at our automation needs, what we had today and what we needed to do, our future requirements, we said we can't do it with the current systems that we have. We saw that many people had little islands of information systems that existed in their own little worlds, and we needed to integrate those islands of information
as Molly said, we've had many islands, okay? And if I needed to go see what this group was doing, I had to go to their island. And I may have had it presented to me ABC. Now when I go to this other island, I may see BDE. Well, each guy thinks he's the king of his island. He owns his information, and I'm not sharing it. I'm the only person who can talk about that, okay? We've tried very hard to gently break down those walls.
People were reluctant to change, we noticed, when some of the applications came online. Maybe they were afraid that this automation will replace their jobs, when in fact this automation helped them do their jobs.
Involving them early in the process is one of the most key things. If you take a system and you go off in a corner and you develop it and say, this is what you're going to need, this is what you're going to use, and then you dump it on them and you say, this is the way it's going to be, you get a lot of negative feelings.
With the Payload Data Management System, the unique part was the users were involved at the onset in defining the requirements. What did that application have to do for them? They met with the software systems personnel who were doing the coding or implementation of it. They were there through the acceptance testing of the applications. Also key to it was our customer, NASA, was very heavily involved in defining the requirements. What it will finally end up as is a system that will help us manage our work in processing these payloads, from the procurement module, tracking the work on the floor, tracking the documents to an integrated division master schedule, mission processing schedules whereby we all march to the same tune, to the same beat. With that kind of information available at our fingertips, we can better manage the way that we do business as well as the processes. And again, we have streamlined a lot of our processes because of the fact that we can go to this one database of information.
We don't accept 99% here. We go for 99.999. So that extra effort and that extra time and that extra testing, that extra care that we put into it, that's what buys you those other nines. And that's what buys you continued success.
That extra care is paying off in other ways, too. The Kennedy Space Center Division is one of 6 finalists selected for the 1992 George M. Lowe Trophy, the premier quality and productivity award in the aerospace industry. It is presented by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration each October and recognizes outstanding achievements that go beyond meeting minimum or contract standards. It acknowledges excellence in all areas. Congratulations to everyone on the Kennedy Space Center team. The nomination in itself is a great honor. And that's it for this quarter's report. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in 90 days.